Hello.
Excuse me, is there a meeting going on?
Yeah. 45 L capital. And what I was saying, ठीक
I'll
है.
be playing as Amanda. I
हाँ,
don't.
cool.
Okay. I played a dual role.
वेबएक्स में ज्वाइन करना है.
यहाँ से YouTube को जाएगा ना, यहाँ से YouTube पे डाल दे.
यूट्यूब का यहाँ से जाएगा, शेयर स्क्रीन शेयर यहाँ से होता है,
वो वीडियो
ऑडियो यहाँ से जाएगा. इट्स ओके. जस्ट मैं ब्रांड को नहीं डालूँ.
हाँ, उसको रिप्लाई कर दो. सेशन हैज बीन स्टार्ट. मैं वहाँ पे एक टीम मीटिंग में बैठा हुआ था जब आप रिप्लाई कर रहे थे, उसके चलते ईमेल भेज दिया. सबमिट.
Make him the panelist as well.
You want this audio to come, right?
Hmm.
हाँ, यहीं से तो जाएगा.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Brian. Am I audible? Brian, you're not audible in case you're speaking. I'm not able to hear anyone. Hello. Abid, can you hear anyone speaking? Brian or me? I'm not able to hear. I can see. Can you make him a panelist? As in the presenter?
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, I can hear you. That was my fault. I did not call. Brian, can you speak something?
Okay, Brian, just give me 1 minute. I'll be back. Okay.
Sure.
Abid, I can hear you
In the
guys.
meantime, I'll be playing some old videos so that we get to know how the video looks. Okay.
Sure.
I'll meet you on the other end.
All right.
audio issues.
This audio is going there.
Hmm.
Is this on mute? This one has to be on mute, right?
Yeah.
Muted.
Huh. What is it? Let me check. Okay. Hello, check. Hi, we're checking the YouTube live. What has happened exactly
Background noises on YouTube.
on? Lot of background noise.
YouTube audio is not clear.
Lot of background noise. Huh? Lot of
Other end. All right.
check 1 2 3. Abid, can you check how is the quality of the video now? Sorry, how can you check how is the quality of the audio now? Is there any background noise still? Check 1 2 3. How is the audio quality? Can you ping me and let me know?
Hey Brian, this is Abid. I'm back. Brian, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Abid. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So what we'll do is we'll do a demo for 10 minutes. I'll go with the script, like introducing you to the audience, and like you send some question and answers with slide 11 and 16, 23. Those questions I have it handy with me. I'm gonna ask the question so that you can respond to the question, and on the other hand, Pooja is there who will check the audio quality. Okay.
Yep. Sounds great.
And also I have engaged my team who's listening to the audio, and they'll be sharing their feedback on the audio quality, and that is from YouTube only. So it's like YouTube streamers.
Gotcha. Okay, good point.
Alright, so let me stop sharing this video. Okay. So here we go. Good evening, Brian. Thank you so much for joining today's session. And let's proceed with the question. it sounds like a career in project management is recession-proof, but how are the opportunities in a growth market?
Great. Well, thanks, Abid. You're right. Project management is definitely a great career, and it provides a lot of challenges, a lot of different variety for individuals engaged in it. But more importantly, it's very resilient down to the economy. And one of the trends that the PMI has recently reported is that there's a lot of retirement expected to occur as many project managers who are baby boomers start to leave the profession and move into retirement. And in fact, the PMI reported that more than 90% of project management openings in the manufacturing industry, as an example, are expected to come from retirement alone. So it is a great profession to career-proof for your career, but it's also a fantastic place to grow your career.
Great, thank you so much for that, Brian. And the next question, it looks like a lot of challenges to PMBOK. How does this compare to the previous changes? So, your take on this?
Right. That's often the question we get when we see these kind of changes that are being introduced by the PMI. The PMBOK has seen a lot of changes, particularly from its original inception, which was way back in 1996. However, increasingly, the changes that we're seeing are more focused on the structure and where content's being moved than it is the addition of a lot of new content. So typically, you're seeing the content move from one process or one knowledge area to another. Periodically, they'll introduce a new knowledge area that hasn't happened since the last release about 4 years ago. But this release is interesting because this is the first time that the PMI has introduced a companion document, which is the Agile Practice Guide. And we all know Agile has been increasingly more and more used within the project management profession. So the PMI is acknowledging that. It's bringing in this new practice guide, gives a lot more flexibility now for project managers as they deliver their projects. It's like a brand new toolkit's been added with these agile techniques. So I think that's really exciting. Now, as everyone I think is already familiar with, the PMI has a separate certification specifically for Agile called the Agile Certified Professional, and that's the ACP. So you're still going to have an opportunity to focus in the PMBOK on more traditional, predictive project delivery, and then you've got this new guide, and it acts as a bit of a bridge between Agile and traditional predictive project delivery. So I think it's a really exciting improvement to the PMBOK, and I think this is going to really kind of engage a lot more interest in getting into the project management profession.
Great. And I was curious. So far we have some certified or professionals who have done PMP in terms of PMBOK 5 and PMBOK coming into picture. So is there going to be any change to the learners who have already completed their certification? Is there any kind of upskill or reskill required in order for them to be aligned to PMBOK 6? General question out of curiosity.
Yeah. That's a really good question, and I think probably the biggest difference is that someone who's previously spent a lot of time studying PMBOK 5th edition versus the 6th edition is that there has been the addition of some new processes. So that's one of the areas that they'd want to get a little bit more visibility to. What are the new processes that are being added? There's 3 new processes that have been added around risk management, knowledge management. So those are the areas that they'd want to get a little more visibility to. There's also been a process that's been removed. That's closed procurements. And that was based on some analysis the PMI did. Increasingly, closing procurements is a responsibility that's transitioned into different parts of most organizations, different functional areas. So accounting now is a little bit more responsible, or maybe the procurement group, to close out a procurement. So that's not a process anymore within the new PMBOK 6th edition. So if you've got some familiarity with PMBOK 5th edition, you'd want to spend a little time in those areas that have changed. And then beyond that, you'll see that there's these new agile techniques have been added. So this is a great opportunity to look at the agile practice guide and get a little more exposure to what these new agile techniques are and see how they align with the PMBOK. And then in addition, there's been some name changes, and probably the most significant change you're going to see is that a lot of times we use the word control risk, control stakeholder engagement, and now the terms are changing in the new PMBOK version 6 to say monitor. So we're as a project manager, it's hard to control risk because it's oftentimes a little outside of our control, right? We can't really control things that are a bit external to our project. But what we can do is we can monitor those. So the PMI is definitely trying to re-emphasize the responsibility of the project managers to kind of keep an eye on things and be in a position to respond and adjust and adapt based on what's happening to the project.
Okay, great. Thank you. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
All right, so the next question. One of the biggest challenges many project manager faces when preparing for the PMP is learning about ITTOS for each process. Will this change make their life easier or harder to prepare for the new PMP?
Well, yes, you're definitely right. Navigating the ITTOs, which stand for Input, Tools, Techniques, and Output, for 49 processes within the PMBOK framework is difficult, even if you have the PMBOK itself sitting next to you. But it's the closed book exam, so you're not going to have that opportunity. So the new PMBOK does help a lot with this because it uses sort of generic terms for many of the inputs and the tools and techniques for each process. So, for example, now you can use a generic reference of project documents rather than having to itemize every project document created in the PMBOK framework. So I think this is going to make preparing for the exam a lot easier, particularly for new participants, new project managers, getting introduced to the profession, getting ready to take the exam.
Oh, great! Thank you so much for sharing that, Brian. And in the meantime, can you share your screen as well so that let's see how the navigation works when you change the presentation or the PPT?
Sure. Give me 1 sec. I'll just bring up the PPT. Hang on. And do I have presenter right?
Yes.
Seeing my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen. It's your mailbox at the Outlook.
Oh, you're not seeing PowerPoint? Hang on. Bad?
Yes, I guess that's the PowerPoint. Can you change the screen or change the slide?
Yeah, there we go. How's that look?
The next slide, please. Yes. Let's go through from here. For about Can we begin for like 5 minutes from here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Your take on the slide and change the slide.
You bet. All right, so in this webinar, we're going to spend some time understanding how a PMP certification is going to help you in your career. We'll look at the new PMBOK 6th edition updates and what those revisions mean to existing PMP certified professionals. And we'll look at the differences between the 6th edition and the 5th edition and look at maybe, if you're in a place where you could take one or the other exam, which exam should you take? And we'll spend some time on next steps for taking the PMP exam, and then we'll look at some frequently asked questions. So let's get started. Just basically, what is project management? What are some of its benefits? So first off, what is project management? It's really the project, program, and portfolio management and the core delivery mechanisms that organizations are going to leverage to grow and adapt to changes in the business environment. And obviously, right now, in the kind of global economy that we're seeing, there's a lot of change that's occurring. Organizations want to take advantage of that. Projects are a great mechanism for them to capitalize on opportunities. So having project managers to manage these projects, these programs, even these portfolios are really important for businesses to grow. So it's also a way to control spending and to improve project results, mostly through understanding scope, managing risk, and aligning schedules and budgets. So with a project manager and project management, you can get a better sense of how much is a project going to cost, how long is it going to take, what's going to be delivered. Organizations need to understand that, so project management is very valuable to them. And finally, it's about implementing these techniques across an organization and creating a strategic value chain. And that's going to give organizations and companies a vital competitive edge in their markets and industries. So the organizations want to understand end to end what it takes to take an idea, a concept, some opportunity, and quantify how much it's going to cost, how long it'll take, and what they will get, and then manage the delivery to satisfy those three goals, and then move that into a support mechanism that they can deliver and receive value from. Now, to support all that, organizations need project managers. They're actively seeking these project managers out to guide their projects and initiatives so they can expand and grow. And we've seen this next screen, McKinsey & Company, which is a global consulting company, has pulled together some statistics to give us a little more visibility to where project management is going. And we see they've got two interesting statistics that we pulled out from one of the more recent studies. The first is that senior executives reporting that developing project management skills are top 3 strategic priority. 60% of these senior executives around the globe see project management and developing those skills as a top 3 strategic priority in a time of expansion. So when the economy is going really well, these senior leaders see the value of project management. Now, what happens when the economy isn't going as well? Like back in 2008 during the global recession, 80% of senior executives reported that project management was a core competency that helped them remain competitive. So they really relied on project management during the recession to kind of keep a lid on costs, manage costs, contain costs, ensure that they're getting what they expected, what they needed from the projects. And in times of growth, as we can see, project management is a top 3 strategic priority. So what are some reasons we should get a PMP certification? And we just saw that there's lots of opportunities in the market, particularly in the time that we're in now, lots of growth. But there's also reasons to get the certification, the Project Management Professional certification. So one is that you get 23% more earnings, more compensation with the certification than without. So that's a pretty compelling reason right there to get the PMP. Individuals with PMPs have seen an increase in their compensation over those project managers that did 70% of those with a PMP saw an increase in compensation over the last 12 months. So that's pretty compelling as well. Look at the average salaries that we have. So if you're a PMP certified project manager in the U.S., you're making about, on average, $112,000 a year. In Switzerland, you're making up to $130,000 a year. So these are 6-figure salaries, and no matter where you are in the world, you're going to live pretty comfortably with that kind of compensation. But it's obviously it's much more than just the compensation. Project management and the career, the profession, has the highest level of job satisfaction across a number of other competing job professions like engineering, being a lawyer, a doctor. And it's because of the diversity, the intellectually challenging work, and then the real opportunity to provide solutions to problems. So all those are pretty good reasons to get a PMP. Okay, so now that we know a little bit of what project management is, why we should look at getting a PMP, let's take a little deeper look at the PMBOK, particularly the 6th edition. So what is the PMBOK? The PMBOK itself stands for the Project Management Body of Knowledge. and it's the guiding source to project management professionals around the world for planning, executing, and managing their projects. Now, every 4 to 5 years, the PMI, the Project Management Institute, which manages the PMBOK, is going to provide an update to standards.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Brian. Fantastic. It looks extremely satisfied with the outcome, and it looks great. A couple of visual issues which I can fix from my end. I mean, I'm sure about it, and we can take it out. But the major portion was the audio issue. We have fixed it out. It works fantastic. Okay.
Okay, so is that a wrap?
Yes, it will be a wrap for today. And what I'll do is the YouTube link, the session link, it will be available as recording. You can definitely go ahead and review that. And if you have any feedback, you can.
The output helped me a little bit in how I'm delivering a message. So if you want to send that, I'll take a look at it later today.
1 second.